Welcome to the video for lesson 442. So this is the next page in the lesson that we previously started, and we're just going to continue with some more examples to try to help us further understand how to do multiplying when we have this distributive property and then combining our like terms. So when I look at this first example here, I can see that I have a 9 and it needs to be multiplied by both the 2 and the 3y. So that tells me I'm going to use an area model for this multiplication first. Okay, so to show this, I'm setting up my area model. So I have the 9 times the 2 plus the 3y. So then I fill in the box here. So 9 times 2, 9 is the side, 2 is the top. 9 times 2 is 18. And then 9 is the side times 3y. 9 times 3, we can do that in our calculator. 9 times 3 is 27. And since there's a y there, I'm going to leave my y next. Okay, so I have 18 plus 27y. That is what my first distribution of multiplying this 9 times both of these terms is. I'm going to write it down below so it's my answer there. But I'm not done yet, because when I look next to this, I see a -8 being multiplied by the y plus 5. So that tells me I need to set up another area model to do this multiplication. And over here I'm going to multiply, so I have the -8, that's going to go on the side. And then I'm multiplying by the y plus 5, so that's going to go on the top. And since it's just that y by itself, I snuck in the 1 to remind me that that means there is one y there. Okay, so now I can go ahead and multiply. So the side here is -8, the top is 1y. So -8 times 1y is -8y. And then for the side, -8 times 5 is -40. So now I had the two areas, I need to add them together. So my answer here is -8y minus 40. And I'm going to write it right next to the continuation of what I started here. So now I've done the multiplication, but I'm not combined yet. This is not completely simplified. I need to go through and combine my like terms. So as I was doing before, I need to start by looking. I'm also kind of thinking of standard form, so I'm going to look for the variable first. So I see that I have a 27y as my variable. So I'm going to highlight my two terms. The 27y, which is a positive, and the -8y. Those are both like terms. 27 minus 8 is 19. And the reason I could put them together is because they were both y variables, so I'm going to have 19y. Okay, the next one is 18 minus 40. So we've highlighted those there. So 18, either 18 minus 40 or 18 plus a -40. And when we put that in our calculator, we get -22, so I wrote it as 19y minus 22. And then that's my answer there. So I've circled it, and that is my answer. Okay, so let's do another example here. Number 6, we have 3, and then it's being multiplied by the 6 minus 3g plus 2, and then multiplied by the -g plus 7. So when I look here, I see, again, it's one term multiplied by 2, so I'm going to set up my area model here. I'm going to fill that in, and then I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. So 3 times 6 gives me 18. And then the 3 times -3g gives me a -9g. And those are my two terms there. They're not like terms. I can't combine them, so I'm just going to write them as the start of my answer. So far I have 18 minus 9g. But when I look at my question up here, the next thing I see is there's a positive 2, but that 2 is being multiplied by the -g plus 7. So I need to set up another area model. Okay, and notice when I set that up, I again put my -1 with the g, so I remember that that's really a -1g. So 2 times -1g, 2 times -1 is -2. And then we just have the 1g, so that goes next. Then I have, for the next box, 2 times 7. 2 times 7 is 14. So I'm going to sneak in, I'm going to put the plus sign in here with the 14. And remember, that's just to remind me that I'm going to add these two together. So it's -2g plus 14. And then I'm going to put that next to what I already started, the 18 minus 9g. Now I have a negative, or subtracting 2g. Subtracting and the negative means the same thing. And then the plus 14. Okay, so now I've taken care of the multiplication, but I haven't combined everything yet. So again, I'm looking for some like terms. When I look through, I see one variable, only the g. Those are in the middle here. So negative 9g minus 2g. Negative 9 minus 2 is negative 11, and they were g variables. That's why we can put them together. So I put a g next to them. And then when I look up here, I see an 18 and a positive 14. So I can put that in my calculator. 8 plus 14 equals 32. So my final answer here is negative 11g plus the 32. Go ahead and give that a circle. You don't have to highlight it. I just like to, so that you kind of, it draws your attention to it. I decided to use a different color this time just to kind of help you, hopefully, to see the answer. So that's that there. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, so for number 7, when I'm looking at this, I see it's 2x plus 3y in parentheses, and then there's a times 4 here. This is really no different than if it were rewritten with the 4 in front, so it looked similar to what 5 and 6 look like. So it's still an area model. It's still going to need the box because I'm multiplying one term, the 4, times two terms, the 2x and the 3y. So 2x plus 3y. So just for consistency, I'm going to keep it this way. So now to fill in my box, I have 4 times 2x. 4 times 2 is 8, and then I just have that x. And then I have 4 times 3y. 4 times 3 is 12. And then I just add the y along, so it's plus 12y. So that's what I get when I multiply the 2x plus 3y times 4. So I'm going to rewrite it. And then I brought along the 17 because I still had this plus 17 that I haven't done anything with yet. So that came along. So now I have 8x plus 12y plus 17. I'm looking to see, is it in standard form? It is. There are no like terms, nothing else that I can combine here. So I'm actually all done. This is my answer. I didn't have to combine any like terms after that. All right, let's do another example. Okay, for number 8 here, I see I have a 4 being multiplied by 1/2 x plus 3y. So again, I see that this is a one term multiplied by two terms, so I need to bring over my area model. I do have a fraction here, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to use my calculator to handle that fraction. So I have a 4 on the side, and then I have the 1/2 x plus 3y on the top. So when I multiply in my calculator, remember we can use the fraction button to multiply 4 times 1/2. 4 times 1/2, or really what that means is half of 4 is 2, and then I have that x up there, so that comes along for the ride. So 4 times 1/2 x, or half of 4 is 2, and then we have that x there. And then in the other box, we have 4 times 3 to give me a positive 12, and then we have a y up there, so I'm just going to bring that along into my answer. So I have 2x plus 12y, and that is what the first part is. But I'm not done yet because I still have something else that I haven't dealt with in the original equation, or expression there. So I have 2x plus 12y, then I still have plus a 6y. That was from the original that I hadn't done anything with yet. It's up here. So I just had to bring that along. Now I am looking for like terms, and this time I do see like terms. So I'm looking alphabetical. I see a 2x, no other x's to combine with, but I do see the y's. That's why I knew I needed to simplify this. So now I have a 2x that's just coming along, but my y terms, there are 2 of them. I have a positive 12y and a positive 6y. Again, remember to highlight that sign with it. So 12 plus 6 gives me 18y. So 2x plus 18y is my answer here. So you want to put a circle around that. Remember, you don't have to highlight it. I'm just kind of drawing your attention to it. That's my answer there. Okay, number 9 here, we have a 2 being multiplied by 3x minus 4y, so that needs an area model. But then when I look next to it, I also am seeing another area model I'm going to need here. So I'm going to need to multiply a negative 3 times 5y plus 8. So I'm going to bring over another area model just because I see that that's going to happen as well. Okay, so one at a time, we're going to start with the 2 is being multiplied by 3x minus 4y. So to multiply, we're going to fill in 2 times the 3x. So remember, you wanted to put that 3x minus 4y at the top there. So 2 times 3x, 2 times 3 is 6, and then I have the x that comes along, and then I have the next side, I have a 2 times negative 4y. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, and then because I have the y up there, that y is going to come along in my answer here. Okay, so 6x minus 8y is the first part, but I'm not done because, like I said, when I look, even if I just drew the one area model initially, I have the 6x minus 8y, but when I look next to it to bring the terms down, I see another multiplication of monomial, one term, times those two terms, binomial. So I'm multiplying by the 5y plus 8. So to do that, I'm going to set up another area model. Negative 3 goes on the side. And then at the top, we're going to put the 5y and the positive 8. And I always like to put the plus sign there so that I remember it's especially important for negatives, but I always want to know what I'm dealing with, a positive or a negative. To fill those in, we're going to multiply negative 3 times 5y. So negative 3 times 5 gives me negative 15. And because there's a y there, we're going to have a y in my answer there. So negative 15y. And then negative 3 times the 8, so negative 3 times 8 gives me a negative 24. So now I'm going to put those into my answer. So I'm bringing over minus 15y and then minus the 24. So I'm going to look to see, am I all done? Well, I see I have an x, no other x's, but then I see a y, and there's 2 of them. So I'm going to keep it in standard form. I'm going to start by highlighting my 6x. There's only one x variable in my expression, so I'm going to start with that. And then I see a negative 8y and a negative 15y. Those two are like terms with the signs in front of them. So negative 8 and negative 15, both y's. So negative 8 minus 15 or negative 8 plus a negative 15 will give me a negative 23. So next to my 6x, I'm going to put minus 23y. They were y terms. That's why I was able to put them together. So I have a y there. And then finally, I see my constant, the minus 24 by itself. No other constants or numbers by themselves to combine with. So I'm just going to bring down the minus 24, and then that is my answer. So we'll want to put a circle around our answer there. Okay, one more example. Okay, so number 10, I again see I have a fraction here, but I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to bring that over. So I see I'm multiplying one term, die 2 terms, set up my area model, 1/4, and then at the top I'm going to have my 8x, and then the plus 12, and then we're going to multiply to fill in our boxes. So 1/4 of 8, or 1/4 times 8, again, just putting that fraction in our calculator. 1/4 of 8, or 1/4 times 8, is 2. And then we have the x there. And then 1/4 of 12, or 1/4 times 12, is positive 3. Okay, so my first part, my answer for the first part is 2x plus 3, but I'm not done because when I look next to it, I see that I actually have another monomial, one term, the 2, being multiplied by the 4 minus 6x, 2 terms. So I'm going to set up another area model. So I have the 2 times the 4 minus 6x. 2 times 4 gives me 8. And then 2 times the negative 6x gives me negative 12x. So I have an 8 minus 12x that needs to come into my answer from before. So I have the 2x plus 3. Now I'm going to add plus 8 and then minus 12x. Now I'm not quite done yet. I do see some like terms. I see I have a 2x variables and then 2 constants. So I'm going to start with my x, keeping it in standard form. 2x minus 12x. So 2 minus 12 in my calculator, or 2 plus a negative 12, gives me a negative 10x. And then I have a positive 3 and a positive 8. 3 plus 8 gives me 11. So next to my negative 10x, I'm going to put the plus 11. And that's my answer, negative 10x plus 11. Make sure you put a circle there. All right, that's it. Have a great night.